It might sound like an insult, but it's a psychological fact: we get dumber in a crowd. This isn't about intelligence, but about how our individual reasoning shuts down in a group setting. Welcome to the science of crowd mentality, where the hidden forces of anonymity, diffusion of responsibility, and social pressure override our better judgment. Have you ever agreed with a plan you knew was terrible? Got swept up in a chant while questioning yourself? Or typed an angry comment you'd never say in person? So this is the mystery: why does a rational person lose rationality in a group? And why do we turn into a crowd? So today in this video we'll explore what happens inside your brain and the psychology behind crowd mentality. And most importantly, how to protect your rationality and how to stay conscious in groups. So let's start with the science and see how it actually works. This phenomenon has a name, and it's called de-individuation, which is the loss of individual identity within a group. It is like the water drop metaphor. Imagine you are a single drop of water. On your own, you have a unique shape and a clear identity. But once you join the ocean, you lose your distinct form. Your identity dissolves, and you become part of something vast and shapeless. Your identity dissolves and you become part of a massive, shapeless body. Our brains are wired for efficiency, which often translates to mental laziness. The kind of deep, critical thinking required to form independent opinions is a marathon for the mind. It consumes significant energy and focus. In contrast, the group offers a ready-made, pre-packaged solution that requires zero effort. It presents a simple, tempting command: stop thinking. Just follow. This path of least resistance is why we so often outsource our reasoning to the crowd, opting for the ease of conformity over the hard work of independent thought. This is the moment your mental autopilot gets activated. Your own analysis decreases, while your instinct for imitation increases. This is the profound danger of anonymity. Whether you are physically lost inside a roaring crowd or hidden behind the veil of a digital screen, a powerful psychological shift occurs: the sense that no one knows it's you. This perceived invisibility dissolves your personal accountability, quieting the internal voice that governs your individual behavior and freeing you to act in ways you never would when you are identifiable and alone. The crowd doesn't just hide you from others, it hides you from yourself. The danger of anonymity is that it dramatically weakens your moral compass, that crucial little voice inside your head that whispers this is wrong. When you feel unseen within a crowd, the social and personal consequences of your actions seem to vanish, causing that voice of conscience to fade and making it dangerously easy to succumb to the group's influence, even when it leads you astray. This process is supercharged by the diffusion of responsibility. Inside a group, the weight of any decision or action is spread so thin across everyone that the sense of personal accountability evaporates. The internal logic becomes: no single person will get the blame, which the brain interprets as a free pass to act differently. This perceived license to bypass your usual moral filters is what allows otherwise rational individuals to participate in the irrational actions of the crowd. So what is the hidden motive behind why we give in? It is a primal trade-off. We surrender our individual rationality to gain the immediate rewards of social belonging, reduced mental effort, and the anonymity that shields us from blame. We aren't just following the crowd, we are seeking the path of least resistance for our brains and our social selves. It all comes down to a subconscious trade-off. We make a deal with the devil. We trade away our freedom to think for ourselves, and in return, we get a huge hit of social acceptance and belonging. We trade autonomy for approval. The famous philosopher Erich Fromm called this the escape from freedom. He argued that true freedom, making our own choices and being responsible for them, is actually really hard and scary. Surrendering that freedom to a group can feel like a huge relief. Because let's be honest, critical thinking can be lonely. It can make you feel isolated. Standing apart from the group is tough. But joining in? That gives you instant comfort, a feeling of safety, a sense of power, and deep belonging. But here's the kicker: these are all false. They're illusions. But in the moment, they feel incredibly real. So, let's be clear, you're not just losing your mind. You're often willingly handing it over. Because in that specific moment, it's just easier. It's the path of least resistance. And this slippery slope leads directly to the most dangerous stage of all, groupthink. Here's how the groupthink machine works: one idea, one course of action, dominates the group. Any opposing voice, any dissenting opinion, is immediately seen as a threat to the group's harmony. And so, that dissent isn't debated, it's automatically suppressed to keep the peace. And the craziest part? This suppression isn't usually ordered by a leader. It's done by the individuals themselves. Everyone is so desperate to be a good team player and maintain consensus that they self-censor and police each other into conformity. The goal completely shifts. The priority is no longer being correct or making the right decision. The number one goal becomes reaching consensus, making sure everyone appears to agree, even if that agreement is leading everyone off a cliff. And you see this everywhere. This isn't some rare, theoretical thing. You see it in business meetings all the time. Everyone agrees with the CEO's bad idea because they're afraid to speak up, to rock the boat, to be the one person who says, "Wait, this is a terrible idea." You see it in online comment wars. The anonymity of the screen turns people into keyboard warriors, saying vile things they'd never utter in public. You see it in the electric energy of sports stadiums and the powerful collective spirit of protests. That group energy can sweep individuals into a powerful, but sometimes destructive, current. Heck, you even see it at large family gatherings during the holidays. Group dynamics take over, and suddenly you're arguing about politics with your uncle instead of just enjoying the pie. So, the million-dollar question is, how do we fight this? How do we protect our rationality? It all boils down to one essential question: how do you stay in the group without dissolving into it? How do you belong without disappearing? Your first and most powerful weapon is awareness. Just knowing that this psychological machine exists is half the battle. You can't resist a force you don't understand. Now that you know about de-individuation and groupthink, you can spot them in the wild. That's your superpower. Weapon number 2 is a simple tactic I call the questioning pause. Before you agree, before you criticize, before you retweet, before you join in, just hit the mental pause button. Stop for just 3 seconds. In that moment of silence, ask yourself one brutally honest question: do I actually believe this, or do I just want to be one of them? This tiny moment of introspection is a firewall against mindless conformity. Weapon number 3 is embracing individual responsibility. Remember this: history never judges the crowd. History judges individuals. Mobs are faceless, but people have names and are held accountable. You alone are responsible for your actions. In the end, you will answer for your choices. You can't hide behind the pathetic excuse of everyone else was doing it. Your integrity is your own. Protect it. Now, a crucial disclaimer: this does not mean you should become a hermit and live in isolation. This is not about being a contrarian about everything, just for the sake of being difficult. That's just another way of letting the group define you by being its opposite. The true goal is far more powerful. The goal is to be a conscious part of the group. To participate, to contribute, but to do so with your eyes wide open and your mind fully engaged. Refuse to be just an echo. Choose to be a voice. This is what true belonging actually looks like. It is not about surrendering your mind. It is about conscious, responsible participation. It's about bringing your full, authentic self to the group, not checking your brain at the door. It's time to take back control. So next time you feel that pull, that current starting to sweep you away, whether it's in a meeting, online, or with friends, I want you to remember this video. Pause. Take a deep breath. And take back control. Take back control of the most important thing you will ever own, your mind. Stay smart, everyone.